Welcome to Coochie Conversations, where we give you the real on all things women's health, spirituality, and motherhood. Empowering women to have sovereignty over themselves, we shine light on the disparities that women face daily as divine feminine beings. So steep your favorite tea, roll up your favorite smoke blend, and tune into this week's episode of Coochie Conversations. Woo! Peace Tribe, it's your girl Bianca Pittman, aka Divine Mother, and we are back this week giving you a fresh Coochie Conversations episode. Today we have a few of my favorite people in the building, my original Coochie Conversations crew. Of course, we have Joanne in the building.
Hey guys.
We have Najla in the building.
Hello there.
We have Sam Solar in the building.
Hey guys.
And we have a newbie, Patrice, in the building.
Everyone.
Hi, Patrice. So today we are shining light on Black Maternal Health Week, Black Maternal Mental Health Week. If you are originally a part of the Coochie Conversations crew, then you know back on our IG Live days, we have had conversations about Black maternal health. This week, starting today, July 19th, up until July 25th, is Black Maternal Mental Health Week. So I felt like we should have this conversation as new moms, moms-to-be, and existing moms. I just want to create a dialogue around the topic, share our experiences, and just really help those who, need this information. As a disclaimer, this episode is created to shine light on the disparities that Black women go through when it comes to Black maternal health. This episode is here to shine light on what goes on with us in the medical system. It's not to induce fear or create any type of anxiety for those of you who, these us moms who are having our babies in hospitals and things like that. We're just shining light on the fact that we need to advocate for ourselves as Black women, no matter where we decide to have our babies. So I am so excited for this conversation. Like I said, in the past, we've definitely spoke about Black maternal health. Black Maternal Health Week is from April 11th to April 17th. And then Black Maternal Mental Health Week is from July 19th to July 25th. And I'm 5 weeks away from having my son. We have Patrice here, who just literally had a baby. He's about 3 weeks old. We have Naj here, who's expecting. We have Sam here, who already has children, and Joanne. So I just want to hear about your experiences in your birthing processes. Approximately 700 women die a year as a result of childbirth, and 2/3 of these deaths are preventable.
I'm the veteran, so I'm probably going to speak the least because my information is outdated. My personal accounts are outdated. I do study these things all the time. I'm heavy in the work. I work in the collective, so of course I am knowledgeable and I do keep abreast of things to support women of today. But my personal experience is outdated because I have not given birth in 15 years.
So Black maternal mental health is a reminder that so many families experience pain, neglect, and loss during what should be one of the most joyous times in our lives. I, for one, like I said, I'm coming up on 5 weeks and having my son, and childbirth has been a very big fear of mine. My whole life. That's been probably the biggest fear I've had. And I think because I'm not having my child in the hospital, I am at peace and I'm very much grounded in my experience. Because people ask me all the time, like, are you scared? Are you nervous? Like, how are you feeling? And honestly, I'm just flowing. Like, I might have a couple minutes where it's just like, oh my God, he'll be moving a lot and it's like, damn, I gotta push you out of my vagina. But like, other than that, as far as like the scares that we go through as Black women, I don't feel like I feel that way because I'm so secure in the path that I'm taking to deliver my son. Had I been having him in the hospital, I do feel like I would be more on edge. That's so
My labor was 2 days long. So my mucus plug broke on April 20th of '08. And I thought I was going to give birth. I was contracting. I was living by myself in Poughkeepsie, upstate. I had originally left New York around 3 or 4 months of pregnancy just to kind of clear my mind. Things weren't really working out with my daughter's dad, and I just wanted a semblance of privacy and nesting because I knew that so many outward opinions and thoughts and like deflections would really, really color the forecast. I didn't want any like outside noise. So I went to the woods by myself, for the rest of my pregnancy. I tend to do that. I tend to look inward and retreat when I'm having a very monumental life moments. I'm still very much that way. I've always been that way. It's more so now that I'm a mother because I need to lock in on myself. I need to trust my inner voice more than others. So I do that more now, and I teach my daughter how to do that. So the fact that she was in my stomach while I had to make that choice was crazy because it's like we're doing what's best for us, and it was the most unselfish thing I've done, and I still stick beside it because when my mucus plug broke on the 20th, I took a $300 cab back to Brooklyn with all of my things, moved into my parents' old apartment because they had relocated to Far Rockaway where we are now. I just began organizing her room, and like that day, like the same day my mucus plug broke, this is the 20th, I'm having contractions. I just started cleaning the apartment up, making up space, assembling things on the 20th. Like I had contractions the whole 2 days. On the 21st, which was the next day of the contractions, I began to contract a little bit more frequently. And my sister, who was living in the apartment, she lives in Texas now. She lives in San Antonio. She had a cold, so I had locked her in the room because I didn't want. I'm a germaphobe. I'm ready to be a mother. I was already a mother before I was a mother, y'all. So I was like, lock yourself in that room. Don't even come out. Whatever. I took myself to the doctor. I didn't even call my mom because my mom went to work. Like I was actually in labor, and my mom came in full uniform. I don't know how she got the call, but I guess we're gonna talk about it a little later. The mental connection. And lo and behold, my daughter was born on May 22nd at 5:12 a.m. And my mom's birthday is 5:12. And my mom was the one that delivered my baby. My mom was right there, and she caught my daughter when she came out.
I didn't know your mom caught her.
You can't tell from the way they bicker. Yeah. You can't tell. I brought you in this world, doesn't mean you can't tell.
Oh yes.
That's why she feels like she has agency. She be talking like an over grandma. She be stepping in front of me. I'm like, Mom, what gives you the right?
Because I caught her.
I saw her before you did. Type
right?
Shit. Yeah.
Basically. Mm-hmm. Wow, 2 days. So 48 hours you were in labor.
Mm-hmm. Intense labor.
I'm taking something called, for the pregnant mommy, labor prep.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started the gentle birth tincture yesterday. Been taking these for 3 weeks now.
And how do you feel? Did you relax your muscles?
So the labor prep and the gentle birth, and then I drink a lot of raspberry leaf tea, but it has raspberry leaf and primrose in it. So when you get to about 30 weeks or so, you would start. You can take these sooner, but I started at 30 weeks. You could take them in your second or your third trimester. I started taking them at 30 weeks. It's supposed to take 2 capsules a day. In the beginning, I started taking one every other day for the first week. Then the second week, I started taking one every day. For 2 weeks, I've been taking one every day. And then this week, I started taking 2 a day.
How do you feel with that? Do you feel fortified?
I feel fine, but it's to help speed up the active labor. So a lot of women who have taken the labor prep and the gentle birth tinctures, they've say Sam, who has 2 kids, where with Royal, she might have not did anything, but with Justice, she might have did this. And they can see the difference of how long their labor was, whether the first child, it was 2 days long, and then the second child, it was 6 hours or 12 hours.
There is no second child, girl. Don't bind that confusion.
Well, I'm just saying the examples of moms who can tell the difference between when they didn't take it and when they did take it. So
it helps the intensity of the pain.
It does help the intensity of the contractions in active labor. It helps with uterine wall strengthening support, cervix softening, and recovery recovery repair. So, and support. So, like a lot of women, especially when it comes to us, especially, we are known for one of the reasons the Black maternal health rate is so high is because we are known to hemorrhage after having birth in these hospitals. So these herbs help with hemorrhaging.
That is awesome. Because I just spilled some castor oil on my vagina after giving birth. We did the Guatemalan way over here. Lots of manzanilla tea. I had my faja on. Like the aftercare was nuts. We're a very Spanish group over here. But I'm excited to see the scope of birthing change. And I think that as moms, I can collectively say for all of us that when you have a solid plan for your body and when you have a certain care regimen, you confidently can show up in other areas of your life. Like even if you're a breastfeeding mom or if you're a mom of a toddler, when you have your mind together, you feel more secure to show up. And I think that's what the disparities are. And that's why this week is so important, because I have lost a friend to childbirth. We're not going to talk about that, but I will encourage everybody to go watch Aftershock on Netflix. It's on Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Yes. Aftershock on Netflix is definitely a great.
It's on Hulu. Yeah, it's on Hulu. It's a great documentary.
Everybody should watch.
Yes.
Whether you've had a kid or don't have a kid, or
if you are a brown woman, you should watch it. Yes. And I just want to state, because I rep myself very hard, Shamani Makiba Gibson lived.
Yes.
She lived out loud. She lived in color. And she painted. And
I do feel like
painted in my life. And I appreciate her presence.
I didn't know her personally like you did, but just her story of not being seen or heard in her fourth trimester. And I feel like I think she had a pulmonary embolism.
Yeah. And she, like, I was going to say that she had an amazing family, and secure, stable, loving home environment. And it was even in those constructs, when she got on that table, it all turned medicinal. It all turned medical. And there's a lot of gatekeeping that happens in those processes. So I encourage you guys to always have a proxy and always have, somebody ready to bum rush some things on your behalf. But let's hope it doesn't get to those extremes, because things are changing now. Reforms are being made.
It's just about, like the problem is we're not being seen or heard in these spaces. And your body better than anybody knows your body. You've been in your body for 30, 40 years. And if somebody comes into the room and they want to tell you about you being in your body and they only known you for 10 minutes. Right. And I just feel like if they listen to us more, then we wouldn't have the results of these mortalities that we have. I was just reading a story about a 30-year-old woman who was in labor. Well, she had a high-risk pregnancy because she had lupus. And while she was in labor, she was saying she didn't feel well or something didn't feel right. And they're looking on the monitor like, oh, well, your blood pressure's fine. Your heart rate's fine. The baby's heart rate is fine. You're fine. You're just stressed from the labor. And she, like 6 hours later, now like 12 hours in, and she's like, no, something's not right. Like, I don't feel fine. And all of a sudden, like, everything started to drop. The heart rate, blood pressure, her and the baby. And they're like, oh, in order to save you guys, we have to do a C-section. So they did the C-section. However, if they had listened to her from the beginning, it could have been preventable. And she now goes to like therapy and stuff like that because she has PTSD circumferencing around her birth. Like she can't look at the birth picture. She can't look at the hospital. She couldn't even look at her baby in the beginning because she was just so frazzled about the experience. And I just feel like if they listened to us more, we wouldn't have these issues. Like I said, we know our bodies, and it stems back from, them feeling like Black women don't feel any pain, and
higher threshold of pain.
Right, because we have a high threshold of pain, and and like these white women are seeking mental health afterwards. They're getting care. they're being seen and heard in these spaces, and we just go and it's like we're playing like Russian roulette.
Yeah. Najla, where do you stand on the postpartum is bred in the birthing room scenario?
So, one of the things that I went through personally during this birthing process, and I'll kind of like bounce it off of my sister's experience, where they had her really running up and down the entire pregnancy. She had high blood pressure, and what I realized during her actual labor is that her doctor had every intention on giving her a C-section, but he waited until the day that he knew that the rate of her blood pressure would not allow her to even be able to attempt to push. But he waited till the day of to gently lay that news on her. We're gonna try our best. It was a lot of we're gonna try our best, knowing that she didn't want a C-section, but then waited till the very end to be like, okay, listen, here's what it is. You're going to have a C-section because your blood pressure won't allow for you to push naturally. So that's how that went. Tanea Joy came a month early. She came with a purpose. She was going to come. And she stayed in the NICU for a very short time, like about a week. And we were able to take her home. And since then, she's been flourishing. Everything's been great. But I do feel like the teams at St. John's who was taking care of Tanea, because she got separated from her mom. As soon as she was taken out, she was separated from her mom immediately. They updated my sister. They had cameras. They're like, we're going to make sure that our entire team is 24/7 watching her so nothing happens to your baby. So they were really reassuring. So she had a great nursing team, right? So when I am taking that as an example, I started having problems with my doctor's office when it came down to genetics testing, getting my ultrasound, things that are routine. Oh, the insurance company needs this, the insurance company needs that, so we missed a lot of deadlines, right? I had the doctor that I chose, I did research on, and because she's a Black doctor and a lot of the nurses who are within her network are Black, I said, okay, this is who I want to go with. I didn't meet my delivering doctor until a couple weeks ago for the first time. So before that, I'm like, hey guys, I pretty much was the liaison between the insurance company and my OB office. I advocated for myself a lot of times. And then came my maternal help through a social worker, a maternal turnaround program. And what that is, they give you mental health services, during your pregnancy and after your pregnancy. So they provide you with a therapist, all of that stuff. They try to help you with housing, applying for WIC, food stamps, whatever programs you need. Because when, the hospital OB wasn't really, cooperating with me. She's like, I will call the office myself and make sure that you get what you need because this is honestly ridiculous. Fast forward, I meet the woman who I would like to deliver for me. I had decided not to use a birthing center because I'm not financially in a position to support that. I met her and I expressed everything I'd been going through, all the trouble I've been having with the OB office. So it's not the doctors, it's actually the supporting people, the people who are supposed to send out paperwork, the people who are supposed to crunch numbers, send the references, do the appointments, set up the appointments. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. So I expressed this to her and she gathered them right up. She said, if this is happening to multiple of my patients, because I have heard about this issue, we have to clean this up because it looks bad on my part because you're not being taken care of. She also asked me what hospital I would like to deliver at because there's a hospital that she delivers from. And then there's another hospital that I would be with the other doctor, and my birth would be supported by residents. They wouldn't necessarily be the ones delivering my child. I said, ma'am, this is my first child. If I
Residents,
don't, residents, medical students.
practice doctors.
Yeah, no.
I said, ma'am, if you are not the face I see, I'm walking out. Okay, mid labor, because I said no. I would prefer a. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with residents and they're studying. However, me being the person that I am, I would like for an experienced doctor who has done this for years in her practice to be my delivering doctor. So she said to me, one thing I want to point out to you, I just happen to be a doctor who is very not anti C-section, but I will do everything in my power to not have to go that route because it is difficult afterwards, right? I expressed to her, if you're going to cut me and you have already in the back of your mind, just allow me to go on to another medical professional and I will be okay with it. No harm, no foul. If that is something that you do. She expressed to me, she really eased my mind because she saw that I was not playing with her. So she did speak on my request for a delayed cord clamping. That was another thing that I expressed that I, wanted to do.
Was there pushback when you made requests like that, Nash?
Yes, the first doctor, the guy.
I got
So that first male doctor, he, when I mentioned having a, because I asked him, like, is there any way that if we can't do a lotus birth because hospitals won't do it, is there a way that we can extend the time that the umbilical cord is attached to the placenta so my baby gets that extra iron? Well, what is the research behind that? What is the purpose of that? Oh, first of all, if you read my chart, you'll notice that I am anemic and I have
wow.
had severe anemia my whole life. This is not something new.
But
It
it's a
runs in my
lot of
family.
nutrients in the placenta that the baby still needs when it's
Exactly.
lactating it.
But
So why don't you know
my
that as a medical professional?
they know this,
He
right?
was just
So
going to ask if she knew, so
right. So I
it's a
was like,
tentative check.
sir, I personally, I'm anemic. My sister's anemic. My mother's anemic. Both all of my sisters, we all have problems with anemia. This is something that, so the extra blood flow that the baby will get being attached to the placenta a little longer is very vital, especially since we know that this is a problem that occurs in our family. And he shut up. Yes, sir, because you think I don't know what I'm speaking of. Bruh. And then I was asking him about placenta preservation. He's like, yeah, that's something that you could do. You just sign a paper. And I'm going to double back on that. Because don't tell me I can just sign a paper and then you
Don't
have me
sign no
jumping through
paper.
hoops, them charging me thousands of dollars to keep my own placenta. So I have to double back on that. But my OB was like, listen, your nurse matters. That's what she said to me. She said, your nurse matters. Now, when you go in, you're going to be spending a lot of time with that nurse.
Right.
So that's the person who you want to be on point because they're going to be giving us back the reports. And if they're giving us reports that indicate that you're at a risk that you need to have a C-section, that's going to be your determining factor. You know what I mean? So you have to be on the same accord with your nurse as well. That's what she pointed out. And I haven't heard any doctor say that to me, honestly. That it is important for me to pay attention to who my nurse is.
Right.
Right?
Because he's the one who's spending the most time with you.
Right. So that being said, I think now things have picked up since I advocated for myself and since I put my foot down. I said, listen, this is what I need. This is nothing new. You are an OB office. Get it together because women need ultrasounds. Women need certain testing done. This is routine. It shouldn't be this difficult, right? So it put me at ease mentally a lot more during the pregnancy to know that my voice is now being heard.
I love that for you. And
Yeah.
you seem way more confident and more strong now. And
Mm-hmm.
I think
Then
it's
in the
just a mama
beginning.
bear thing, right? It's like I got my baby. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah. Like,
it's
If
like
I don't got my baby, I got my baby.
it's like
I feel
not my
I
baby.
feel like a
It's
dragon
just like a
sometimes. I feel like a dragon sometimes. Like, like I'm ready to come for any, y'all really want to play this game with me. So far, like my body has been feeling a lot better, a lot okay. You know, like the nausea is not there and stuff. That has helped me tremendously mentally because I'm
Probably
able
Can
to
you
take
give
anxiety.
us
breath.
your Can you give us
It
your
was
due date
probably
month? Like around
anxiety.
the time?
Right?
So I'm due November 28th.
Hey.
I
They're
thought it was the
saying that
29th.
it's the 28th.
No
Is it?
way, Justice is the 30th. That's
I'm the
crazy.
29th. I thought it was my birthday,
Oh
but
my
Listen,
god.
listen, okay? Just as long as my baby's not a Scorpio. Shh.
no. As long as he ain't a Scorpio, right?
Just trying to avoid that whole section. So
Oh my
according to my
goodness. All
gestation,
right, we have another Sag coming. I'm praying
right?
for a Virgo.
Girl, bye.
Seven's not gonna be a
So
Virgo
you
Why?
already,
because
Joanne, you already,
he's not gonna stay in that long. I already know.
I have a proven
Joanne,
record that I don't be wrong about these babies.
right?
I'm loud, but I'm gonna be quiet because I don't want to put nobody on the
And
spot right
that's your
now.
problem. Joanne already got one of her requests. I'll just say that. However, you know, she'll get her formal letter in the mail. So the
Because
gestation
I be knowing.
measurement
Seven's not staying that long. I
indi-
give him 3 more weeks.
indicate that my baby is showing 21 weeks, but like the dates show 20 weeks and 3 days, well 4 days now, but the gestational measurement is showing that my baby is actually bigger than what the dates are showing.
Mm.
So it's kind of like iffy because I'm like, do I just got a big ass baby? So it's a little different, but I have I have my next ultrasound. I got in a car accident a few days
What?
ago. Yeah. So that's how I ended up getting another ultrasound for them to make sure the baby was okay. Baby's okay. Everything is fine. So my official ultrasound for like the weight and all of that stuff with NPT is on the 21st.
Okay, in a
Um,
few days.
You still
yeah,
not know the sex?
I do.
Oh. Oh.
I'm not saying
Yay, we
I
know
do.
the sex.
I
Bianca,
Finally.
do.
we been knew the
I
sex.
do.
Well, yeah, we've been new to sex, but
Y'all
formerly
get on
knowing
my
the
nerves.
sex.
Y'all
Formerly
get
knowing
on.
the sex. Wow. So
So
And you know what, Nas? It's like even in the car accident, I just want to commend you for like you had that baby came first because you were
right.
already in advocacy mode and you were already on mama bear mode. So I just loved seeing your growth throughout the pregnancy because it was like, oh my god, I'm pregnant, and it's like fuck out of here, I'm pregnant. Like it got there
Right.
real quick. It got there
right.
real quick,
And I'm
and I
just
love
happy
that
that
for you.
nobody got hurt in the car accident.
Yeah,
That's
I
Right,
literally told them, they're like, "Oh, how many people was in a car with you?" I said, "Me and my baby." Since y'all want to play that game, and somebody
okay.
put me on game to that. Somebody said, if you look at your laws and the laws about, you know, what a fetus is considered, and we all have our own beliefs, but if in a law way, in order for you to be able to properly advocate, you got to let them know, like, since y'all want to consider a fetus, a form,
Alive.
boom, two people got a claim. My baby claim number is like,
right.
okay.
Right.
So because of that, because I was first concerned about my baby and the health of my baby, because the car was total, airbags deployed and
Oh
everything,
my God.
Whoa.
the officer didn't really get my statement on what had occurred. So now my whole case is based on this woman and she's screaming. So today I called and I said, listen here, I am not being heard because my first attention was to my child. And I'm
Mm.
not going to allow you guys to keep speaking over me, because everybody I've called, my insurance, the police department has spoken over me. And that's something that I used to be very like timid about. And I would just shut my mouth and listen. But no, you're going to speak over me because this is imperative. I told the officer straight up, it's my duty as a mother to worry about my child first. And because it's not something that you can identify with,
Mm.
that's why, you know, it's nothing to you, but it's very major to me. And he shut his mouth. And that was the end of that, you know. And that's something that I'm learning through this pregnancy, is that is not to let
That
people speak over me.
boundaries,
You know why?
advocate
Because
for
there's going to
yourself.
come a point in time that my child is going to be, mommy, this happened, mommy, this happened at school, this happened, blah 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 blah.
Was there any stage in the birthing process where you had to advocate for yourself or
Oh
you felt like you had to speak up?
yes, it was most definitely, especially during my active labor. that's actually going back to what Bianca was saying, how we know our bodies. And I just knew he was ready. He was pushing, although my cervix wasn't all the way open, he was ready. And I kept telling him, like, I know my body. It's time. Lo and behold, I ended up tearing because they were like, it's not time. And, trying to tell me that I wasn't ready. And then they tried to say that they tried to tell me that I needed the epidural because I couldn't take it. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm having him natural. And in 30 minutes, from 6 centimeters, I jumped up to 10 because he knew that mama wasn't going to have no medicated birth. And so, I really commend you. Naj. My apologies, Naj, for advocating for yourself from the beginning all the way to the end. Like, that's what we have to do. And it's important. It's definitely important, especially having a real close connection with the nurse, even though she's a stranger at first. That's very important too, because
did you give birth vaginally? You had a VBAC or you had a C-section?
Yeah, I had a VBAC.
Okay. How was that? You mind sharing us a little bit?
You didn't have a VBAC because you never had a cesarean. It was your first kid. So you
Can you
just
guys
had a
hear me?
vaginal birth.
Oh, vaginal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So VBAC is vaginal after having a cesarean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, wait, that was her first baby, she said.
The first baby, yeah.
Okay.
Right. So Sam had a VBAC.
Okay. So wait, can you give us a little insight of how that was? Like, when did your water break? How long was the birthing process?
Okay, so let's just start. He came a week before because they induced me due to the high risk pregnancy. In my opinion, I feel like they tell all Black women they have a high risk pregnancy.
I was going to say, what was the high risk of your pregnancy and when did you find out you were high risk?
Soon as I got pregnant, because prior to that, I've had a hyperparathyroid where the hormones is just like going up and down.
Me too. Look, I'm working on it.
We have to talk because just
it's hormonal.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And it stems from having an unbalanced throat chakra.
I'm working on it, Bianca. I am trying every day.
I know with your lapis on.
And you know what? Let me just say something, Patrice. I'm not trying to get in your business, but if I was Amari, I want to get here earlier too, because the way he napping right now.
Right, look at him.
I want to be where he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, I want to be in here. I want to be on you. Like, I want to be where I'm at right now.
Here watching, like, oh my God, it's gonna be me in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's coming up so soon. So speaking of the high risk thing, can everybody hear me? By the way, because I know my thing.
Yeah, we can hear you, Nash.
The high risk thing, I was also put on high risk as soon as I found out I was pregnant. They had me written down as high risk. So when I asked, like, why am I listed as high risk, she had to do me a sugar test to clear me of that risk. I told her, I said, I've had low blood sugar for a long time. So once she cleared me, that cleared the high risk. They just put that on your paperwork automatically. And because PCOS is so common, I can guarantee you that a lot of women are put on high risk. And someone has told me that
I have PCOS. Well, I don't have it anymore. I had PCOS. So, everybody knows my story. I had PCOS for like 10 years. So when I got pregnant, she was like, well, there goes the PCOS. And I was like, oh, aren't I high risk pregnancy because I have PCOS? And she was like, there's no such thing as a PCOS like pregnancy, like a high risk PCOS pregnancy. She's like, you don't have PCOS. Boom. So I'm not high risk because I have PCOS. I'm becoming more of the high risk range. One, because I'm Black, but because I've gained excessive, quote unquote, weight during my pregnancy. And there is a fear mongering with you're gonna have to get a C-section or you're gonna get preeclampsia. So all I hear every time I go to the doctor is about me having to now get a C-section. So, and if you don't know, Black women are more likely to have C-sections, and C-sections are 3 times more likely to happen as opposed to a vaginal birth, and they get a 50% increase when it comes to monetary value. So
Yes.
I had to create my birth plan, even though I'm having a home birth. But if things go to where I have to go to the hospital, my birth plan states that I do not want a C-section.
You
Right.
know
Like,
what's
And
crazy?
bringing it full circle, if you look at some of the risk factors, so there's a chart, and I don't remember what it is, it'll come to me, that the risk factors, one of the risk factors that is listed on that chart for birthing complications, that's what it was being Black. How is that an actual risk factor? And you
so
guys are
as
putting this
soon
in text.
the other
That
day I went to the doctor.
being Black, that's it.
The other day I went to
Go
the
ahead,
doctor
sorry.
and she was surprised. My doctor is Black and Indian. And she was like looking at my chart or whatever. And she was like, wow. So they're saying that you're high risk now because you're Black. Like that's what's in the chart. And she's never seen it like that before. I don't know if she doesn't have many Black patients or if this is just a new thing that they're just adding to the database. But she was like, wow, like now they're trying to put you in here as high risk because you're Black. And I just know, like, in the hospitals, their algorithms, they go off of race and
Yeah,
like
mine
races.
said
And
Black
that needs to
Hispanic.
be
Yeah,
that
mine
needs
said Black
to be
Hispanic.
and that needs to be more loud, because if even in the verbiage, remember, words have meaning. And if you're saying someone is high risk, automatically now as a medical professional, you're putting them in a lane where they don't even get a fighting chance to allow their body to do what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then, whenever you try to, I think one of the things the doctor was saying when I was like, I don't want to be cut, is
Right.
the male doctor was saying, well, we can't promise you that we're not going to do that. If it's necessary, hold on, partner.
But
We didn't
necessary to
even
who?
we didn't even get there. You haven't even done blood work on me yet. And you're already anticipating if it's necessary. So when you put a label on something and it starts to gather a stigma behind it, then that will follow, and it puts us as Black women at risk. We are high freaking risk. It puts us at risk because automatically you're thinking like,
Because
yep,
you're
we're
putting
just
us
gonna
at risk, though.
Right.
We're not at risk
right,
because of our race.
right.
You're putting us at risk.
And they're
You're
presenting
putting
our
us as
current
at risk.
situation. Yes, and they're articulating our current situation as threatening, and
Yes.
or like, and it gives it deviates from the whole calling. Like, I'm gonna say generally I'm the oldest one here because I have the oldest child here. I was 21 years old when I gave birth, and I was 20 when I found out I was pregnant. So when I was 20 years old, they diagnosed me with, hyperactive thyroid. Great. They told me I was premenopausal.
Premenopausal.
They diagnosed me with they diagnosed me menopausal, and I also had fibroids. So that was their precursor for making me high risk. So
Right.
imagine me 20 years old, my body's changing. I just got these titties, and now I'm about to have breasts, and you're telling me a baby's inside my body, and that I might not be able to push it out.
They say
That's
that the
exactly what I was gonna
success.
say, because when I was young, they did that to me too. I think, like right now, I feel like the strongest thing for women, and like the strongest thing I could say, is the educational part. Like
Mm-hmm.
without the education, we didn't have the education. When I first had, like you said, when I first had Royal, I had no idea what I was doing, and like obviously, like you're supposed to like do your research. Everyone tells you, oh, do your research, but nobody gives you a resource. Nobody, like in the
Like,
beginning.
what research
Now,
am I doing? I don't know where to even start.
yeah, even with the second one, like I was well informed. I had two doulas. Like I had an encapsulation of my placenta. I still have my pills to this day. They help a ton. So whoever says that they don't help, that's a lie. Because it's like, to this day, and I have such a connection to them. Like even if they go like spoiled, which I don't think they ever will. Like I just keep them in the freezer or the fridge. But like I just have such a deep like understanding after like my second experience. It's like you really got to be educated. Even with like if I ever do have a third, I feel like now I know, because now I went through the experience of pushing, And I was a successful VBAC, and I didn't even know what that word meant at first. You do have to educate yourself. And we were in a conversation when I was pregnant with my brother's wife's family, because we were celebrating my birthday, I believe, and it was like the topic of conversation, like, that we were all talking about my VBAC. Like, I'm like, yeah, like,
Yeah,
totally.
because to them, they swear that you can't have a vaginal birth after having a
You were a
cesarean.
miracle,
No, I
bro.
got
You're a
the
walking
midwife.
miracle.
Like, I got my midwife, and I got I found one. It was an hour away. I wish I would have had one closer by, which I would, again, just like do your research, reach out to people. Naja, I hope you found a midwife. If not, please let's exchange. I was looking for your number to send
I
you
have
more
a,
stuff. So
I have a,
I'm
I'll
so
send you
sorry
my
if I never
number.
got you. What?
Sorry, I have you on Instagram, so I'll text you my number again.
Yes,
Don't
please,
have your
please.
number. I do have your number. I have a
We're
doula.
gonna get. I'm gonna get it from, like, just message me on Instagram if anything, because I keep changing my names. I forgot like your Instagram handle. I just like
I have a doula. My doula is phenomenal. She's
exactly. It's
actually
so important. It's so
So
important
important.
to have
she's
a
my Elay
doula. Like,
sister.
yes,
She's my Elay sister, so she can. She also does my my readings sometimes when it pertains to like what I need for the
exactly,
baby. So a lot of like health stuff, she's able to like say, okay, this is what spirit wants you to do to alleviate this problem, especially when it came to my foot, because I was like a big concern. She was the one who let me know that it was a physiological problem. It was something that we talk about water retention in the feet, she was telling me you're retaining resentment.
Energy.
Yeah, you're retaining resentment, and in order for your foot to get better, because it's not your pregnancy that's causing your foot, you've had this like swollen foot before. So she was like, these are things that you want to heal up and work on during your pregnancy and work on releasing. So I think it's pretty dope to be handling things on both the spiritual side and then the medical
Yes.
side. She's like a herb expert, which I really love. Um, so we simultaneously work together, and she's in Houston, Texas. So
H-Town!
yeah, she's a real Southern belle.
Yes. And it's dope that you have both the spiritual and the physical. Like, that's
Yeah,
what I love about my doula.
The balance, right?
The
yeah.
balance of having
Can
her.
I ask Patrice a question?
Mhm.
Patrice, what role did holistic care take in this new journey of motherhood?
I'm so happy you asked me this question. Because before I got pregnant, I always wanted to be a mother since I was like 9 years old. So just going through my healing journey as I became an adult, I always told myself I wanted to be healed spiritually, mentally, and physically before I have children. That's just something that was like one of my affirmations. And so once I got pregnant, it just seemed like, obviously it was time because the universe is like, he's here. I'm sending him through you. So I'm like, okay, so I've healed in certain aspects for me to, receive my blessing. And during the pregnancy, I'm a firm believer in the Most High, and I walk by faith all the time. So there wasn't really a lot of herbs that I used. It seemed like my body actually rejected a lot of holistic herbs. Like it just was like, no, no. Even with the sea moss, no. Like my body rejected everything. And my first trimester, I actually lost 50 pounds because I wasn't able to keep down food or water. So for a lot of times we didn't really eat but the first 3 months. And that the third month I had to go into the hospital for about almost 3 weeks, and it was the worst experience ever because they wanted to treat us like a guinea pig, and I wasn't going for it. Like, I thank the Most High for the endocrinologist that I have, because he was just like, whatever they say, the meaning as far as the OB, don't take any prescription drugs that has to do with the parathyroid, because that will actually harm your baby. So the 3 weeks that we were in the hospital, they kept trying to feed me different parathyroid medications,
Yeah,
and
and they're mostly hormonal. What I find, because thyroid is a hormonal imbalance, they kept trying to give me the same things, and it's funny because the inner consciousness is so real.
it
Like
is
like I love God, but like I feel like I'm more closer to my Creator now that I have pushed life through my body as a conduit. I mean, that's not my child; it's His child. He chose me, and I'm gonna give it back to Him eventually. Like when when she's in good age, well, she's right about now. We'll talk another time, but it's so funny that I knew immediately when they tried to treat me, it would affect my baby, and I just cut it off. I said I could go without it,
right, and
and I love that advocacy.
that's exactly what I did. Like they even, I didn't even take the prenatals because the prenatals was making me sick as well. I didn't take anything. So when you ask me, really just allow my body to take its natural course. I'm just having a baby. It was plenty of times where, my vibrations was very low because I was depressed during my first trimester because I had got jumped on by the sheriff's department. So I felt like they was trying to kill my baby when I kept telling them I was pregnant, and they used excessive force, hitting me in my stomach and all that. So for the first trimester, I was definitely depressed, and then just with the pregnancy symptoms, it didn't make it no better. But mentally, I knew that I'm carrying a child, so whatever I feel, whatever I go through, that's what he's gonna feel, and it's not fair to bring him into this world, with trauma or just having mental breakdowns and stuff like that. So a lot of it was like, mental health. I had to keep myself mentally grounded because there was a lot going on during my pregnancy. People show their true colors, and then, things aren't going your way, finances, all that. But mentally, I stayed grounded. Now, emotionally, I was up and down. Like my vibrations was very low, but we got through it. We really did. With no medication.
I'm proud of you, girl.
I really resonate with that as well. My pregnancy was really, really tough. Like the first time it wasn't as bad. I felt, some type of support and grounding, but it was still a little hard. I guess because we were not ready and we were young, and it was an unplanned thing. And then also with the second one, it was just really also very unfortunate, like type of event. So I definitely can resonate with that so much. I'm so proud of you for staying that strong.
I'm
I
so
had a
proud of you,
similar
Patrice.
situation where, yeah, I was also hit in my stomach by my son's father, and it was really traumatic. So I agree. Like I used a lot of plant medicines of my own, to really, like, different teas, different mixtures, meditation, to really just stay grounded, because I knew that the stress that I was going through, I knew it was like liable to like hurt my child. So like at a certain point of my pregnancy, I was just maybe like 5 6 months, I was like, you know what, like I'm going through with this, and I'm gonna be strong, and I'm going to just be happy. And at that point, it really changed for me. I started traveling. I went to Atlanta. I did a retreat. I did a healing retreat. And I got, like, I got so much experience. I got so much spiritual knowledge being out there in those lands in Atlanta. We were, like, definitely on, like, Cherokee land. And then I went to Miami. I got blessed in the ocean. It was such a beautiful pregnancy after that. So I really also encourage, again, along with, I just want to say a few things, like just encouraging again the education, like education on everything. Get a personal trainer if you can afford it. Get a doula if you can afford it. We have all the resources that you guys need. Like you're not alone. Also, like, just there's a bunch of apps that you can look up information on. You can also do a lot of movement classes. Try to find a local support group, or even just call your friends and say, hey, do you guys want to like dance, once a week, and just get out and really move. I think, like, the depression, like shaking it off, but also being in your physical body, because I also lost like a lot of weight with justice. I couldn't keep anything down. I only like mangoes and avocados. And that was like it. I was like super on my like vegan stuff at that point. But I felt really good after I kind of like pushed everything, kind of accepted what was happening and kind of just like pushed forward like you said. So I really resonated with that. Thank you for sharing that and like making
Thank you
me
for
feel
sharing.
like I'm not alone, you know.
Now, I did have the support of my child's father throughout the whole pregnancy and during the delivery, so that definitely played a huge role because I know my emotions would have been all over the place if he wasn't there. So that was something that was very important to me. And also during the delivery, the nurse, she was spiritual to an extent, but then there was this other nurse that walked in with very, very dark energy. And when I looked at her, her eyes got big because that's the anointing that I have over me.
She saw that you saw her.
Yeah, and then
You
whew,
aggravated her demons.
Yes.
she did, and I didn't want her to touch me, but I'm like,
Right.
you know, cover me most high, like this. Please keep me here with you. And unfortunately, she's there. Excuse me, she's there just for a paycheck because I was induced, so when you get induced, they have to try to stick their fingers up in you and see how far along you come. I mean, you are in your centimeters, and just talking about it makes me uncomfortable. But I don't know. It's like she was just putting her hand in the hole, like just no compassion,
No grace. No.
nothing at all. And it brought tears to me. I'm like, this is the first time I've cried. Like I haven't even cried during my pregnancy. Like she made me cry. Like. And then after that, I just told her, I don't want her in here anymore. Please,
Right.
well, actually, I prayed about it because I didn't tell my nurse, but I was just speaking it into an existence, our universe. Please don't let this woman come back in here.
Right.
So she did come back, and I told her like, look, I don't want you touching me. And then after that, she disappeared. Like she was never around.
Listen, all it took was a petition.
Right.
Because it was bigger than you. It was about a Mari connection with God at that point. It wasn't even about you. Because what the prayer was, what was best for him shall pass.
And I'm
the
big
best for him was for her to be removed.
I'm big on not wanting any interference. Like, don't come in here, even if I have to go to the hospital, don't come in here checking my cervix every 5 minutes, putting your fingers up there. Like, I feel like this is how we end up with bacteria and all that stuff. Every time you come and you put your fingers inside of me, you're potentially giving me some type of bacteria. And I just really I don't believe in inductions. I just feel like the baby's going to come when the baby is meant to come. And Absolutely. We all have a duty on this side and the other side. You know what I mean? So like, picture your baby, leaving your ancestors and saying its goodbyes and, getting ready for this journey, and you're just trying to speed up the process. And it's like, no, he's not ready. He's going to come when he's ready. And I just feel like they say most prenatal care is to create a record for liability purposes as opposed to actually caring for the woman.
You're
just doing all of this so that you can write it down in your record so that you don't get sued.
Right, and protect your interest.
Protect your interest as opposed to really caring about me and the benefits of me.
And this divine time, what a beautiful experience to be a portal, to be a vessel. And you would think it'd be honored. You would think it'd be celebrated. There's a whole ward and a whole separate section of the hospital and these medical facilities for expecting women. And in the moment of the birth, that's when you're the most callous.
No, and they rush it. They rush everything. Right. That's why they do sections. You know what I mean? Because a labor could be 2 days, but a C-section could be 30 minutes. Like,
right. Right. And I told my doctor, my OB, the energy was so important. When you speak on Patrice, I heard you say something about energy. When I met, because I had a choice, and I had a few choices, and I love that. I had a choice with who I wanted to be my delivering doctor. Dr. Cordero, I did not like his energy. His energy was quick. It was very jumpy. It was very like, let's get this over with.
Patient.
I have another woman, like I have another patient. Whereas Dr. Mohammed, she sat with me. She looked me in my eyes. She let me take my time. She did not speak over me. She sat and she listened to my concerns. She wasn't in haste. She wasn't checking her watch. And that energy allowed me to feel a lot more comfortable with delivering
Right.
in a hospital. Because listen, Bianca, I was this close. I was like, yo, I'm gonna fuck around and just like deliver at home and just like keep pouring with these years. But I was like, she made me feel so comfortable because she listened, and I felt that she was listening to me and understanding where I was coming from. I told her like, yo, the medical industry is not kind to women who look like us. That's why
No.
I go 40 minutes out of my way to to come to your office so I can get someone who looks like me. I told her that straight up. Like, I'm dead ass serious. Like, so, and I've spent a lot of time doing research into my OB. So it's like that energy is very important. When I come across people whose energy is like mm, giving stank, I don't even want to deal with you anymore. I had depression before I was pregnant. So I was on 100 milligrams of Zoloft, the non-genetic name is Sutraline, and then I was bumped down to 50 milligrams. When I found out I was pregnant, I stopped the medication completely. But then shortly after, I started experiencing depression again. And so they put me on a very low dosage. They said as low as we can go to where it's not harm to the baby is what we're going to do. So I was okay with that. And it has helped me tremendously. I'm not the biggest advocate for um, antidepressants or like mental medications during pregnancy. However, I can honestly say that for me personally, it has helped me tremendously, especially on like the day to day, just getting through. So, that being said, it was very important for me that during my pregnancy, I seek mental health treatment to make sure that you're good during your pregnancy. So, they're still matching me with a therapist and stuff like that. And that's something very important because what I'm experiencing now, being that I'm watching my sister care for her baby and she's doing a phenomenal job, it's kind of scary to me a little bit. It's very scary because sometimes I take on shifts and I'm like, good Lord. Good Lord, this is gonna be such a trip for me. And sometimes like now she's crying and screaming and my sister's so cool, calm, and collective, and I'm over here having like a little mini heart attack, wondering like it's like I want to go fly in the room and see what's wrong with her. So I'm like, there are moments where I stop and I'm like, am I ready? And I have to like cheer myself on, you know. So it's very real, and it's
I
very
think a
real, and I
better
think it should
question
be.
to ask is, are you prepared and are you supported? Because you're ready, girl. Let me tell you, you are ready. You are born
My,
to do this. But are you prepared
I
and are you supported?
when I first got pregnant, the first thing that you know, I told someone, a friend of mine, I said, I have the most, in my opinion, I have coochie conversations gang. First and foremost, I have Bianca who's extremely versed in women's and yoni health and
She the
doula
coochie coat.
health. I have she is literally my coochie hero. What are you saying? Like, I'm like, then I have my spiritual network, my Elay, which is an abundance of powerful women. My first in line is the Yemoja priestess. My doula is also a daughter of Yemoja like me. Um, so I have an Elay full of women, a lot of them who are mothers, who are just wrapping their arms around me, like, just always giving an encouraging word. Um, I have my mom who is super grandma. Like, my niece don't play. When she's with her grandmother, you hear no sounds. Who bathes a baby, feeds them, changes them, all of the above is still thing. Huh? Sleeping while you're giving her a bath? What? It is unheard of. Okay, my mom has that touch. I don't know what it is. She had a touch. And just around me, friends who are, when they hear silence, they know that I need a moment, and then they're gonna check in on me and just ensure that I'm okay. How are you feeling? Every every cushion around me is a safe space for me, um, to just be at ease and know that I'm protected and know that I'm covered and know that I'm prayed for. And that is very important because that's a network that I built even before I got pregnant.
Damn sure did.
So by the
I'm so
time
proud
it
of you,
came around
Naj.
to
I'm so
getting
I'm so
Yes,
proud
pregnant,
of this
girl.
fortitude. Like when I tell you, I have been cheering you on from jump because I know that you are stronger than anything. And even with the challenges like the car accident or you know just putting a handle on your mental health. I just want to commend you on this open space for just taking charge of your life and doing what's best for your baby and creating what that landscape looks like. Like you're already a phenomenal mother because you put yourself first. You're already a phenomenal mother because you have your baby in mind and you're making the necessary changes. And it's not against anybody's advice or what you see on social media, what you see on the TV. Like you went at
yeah.
your own pace because you know how you learn. And I'm just so grateful to just, hold space for you and just check in when you do because I love to hear
No, thank
reports.
you.
Love to hear
Trust
I love
me.
to hear a testimony. I love to hear when I'm talking to you that you're better
I,
than the last time we spoke and even better than the last time we spoke. And that's what good news is. And it's so important
Yeah.
that a network of mothers is formed because we mentally we're in charge of so much. Our body's changing, our lives are changing.
Yeah.
And our family gene pool is changing. The
it
bloodline
Yeah.
has
literally
been extended through our bodies.
it literally takes a village. So
Literally.
Absolutely.
I
It
tried.
literally
That's
does. Make sure you have the top three numbers of people that have experience and people you can call that you know they're not gonna give you a hard time. They're gonna pick up the phone. Girl, you could keep me on speed dial. Like, I'm here
I'm
for
telling you,
you. I've
I
been
had
alone. You're not alone. You're gonna get through this and you're gonna be fully supported. Just know, don't forget to call us. Don't forget. Don't think that
yeah.
ever you're
no,
alone.
it's true because
And don't, yeah.
black women are twice as likely to white women to experience mental maternal health conditions after having a baby, and
Yeah.
we are half as likely to receive any type of treatment for it. So we have to build our own networks, and we have to, you know, have these people that keep our vibrations high,
Yep.
and vice versa, because
Yeah.
if we depend on it from the medical field, we're just not going to
And
get it.
honestly, the fear mongering is real. Like, I rather go call Bianca and ask her a dumb question than to go Google some shit. And now my algorithm is completely miscarriage, said this, that, the other, and that does happen. I've seen it. I typed in one little thing on Google,
The way
and
Amari is
here's
sleeping, I know I could call Patrice too now.
Right.
right. Okay, listen, and I could say, and I
No,
could
that's
call
You
one of my
right.
good
homegirls
baby.
and be like, "Hey, I have a dumb question." They'll be like, "That's not a dumb question, girl.
Right?
Ask
There's
it
no
because
dumb question.
because
And I
we've
think
been
that
through it."
the shame silences us. And I think the shame of not knowing our bodies and not mastering our bodies, the shame of not having a white jacket and stethoscope around our neck, the shame of not mastering something that we're doing for the first time, it shames us into silence. So like I'm so excited for the landscape to change. Like Patrice, I hope you know how supported and how loved you already
Yes.
are. Like you already
Yeah,
in it. I don't know if you know, but you in it.
yeah.
And you
We don't shame in coochie conversation. We done named our coochie. We done
yes.
We're gonna do it again.
we
We're
done
gonna
let
do
the
it
cat out
again
the
on
bag.
your podcast.
Bianca, can I ask you something real quick? Can you just
Absolutely.
talk to us a little bit about like your experience with like your hubby and like Seven and like just being like in that space because I see you're glowing and like you're so
Yes.
supported and we're supporting you too. So if you can let us know like
Yes. So I have a very beautiful support system here. you know, when I went home, I realized, because when I went home, I was like, you know what, I think I'm just gonna try and come back home, like, because I just feel like, you know, it takes a village, and I just have my mom there and everybody there, and then, but it's like when I'm here, it's like I have a beautiful partner who, you know, does all he can when it comes to this childbirthing experience. I don't feel alone. I have a wonderful doula who's a student midwife who is,
Hey, Goddess Raina. That's
you
my
know,
girl. That's my girl.
Hello.
above and beyond. Um, they've definitely made this experience delightful. I've had a beautiful pregnancy, minus the pain that I've been in for the past 8 weeks. But, you know, that's just normal aches and pains of having a small frame and gaining what I gained 45 pounds in this pregnancy so far. So those, y'all all know me to be very super small. So for my body to be expanding in this way, it's been a lot on the body. But as far as my emotions and my mentality around the journey that I'm about to take, and, you know, I get a lot of backlash from, not even backlash, but it's just people always want to share their experiences or put their fears on you. And when I tell people like I'm having a home birth or I'm having a free birth, it's like, well, what about this? What about that? And I just tune out all the noise and only go to the people that I'm supported. You know, it's like go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated type of thing. I do a lot of hypnobirthing meditations in the morning with Seven. I take walks, I exercise, I do swimming, yoga, Pilates. I can't do the yoga and Pilates anymore because I have something called SPD, which is a symphysis pelvis dysfunction. So it's kind of when your pelvis softens too early, preparing for the baby. So it causes like a lot of pain. So half the time, like I can't even turn in the bed. Like it's a whole project for me to turn in the bed. Like Ricky literally has to like sometimes help me like just move on to a different side or get off the bed. And it for somebody who's so independent, I feel so helpless sometimes, like so needy. Like the other day I was exercising and the last time I was able to do Pilates, I got stuck on the floor and I was literally like crying. He was sleeping and he heard me crying and he like picked me up and put me on the bed and take me off the bed. And it's like, just to move my legs to the side, like he has to like move the bottom part of my body. And it's like, I can't imagine like how crippled people who live like this every day feel, because like I'm just such a, he'll be like, you need help? And I'm like, no, because he'll be like half sleep and want to like get up and like help me. And I'm like, you're resting, like relax. Like, and he's like, no, you need help. And it's just being open to receive, you know, as we talk about in a lot of conversations. And it's okay to need people. So I'm very much learning that. And it's been.
Yes, it is. It's always okay, no matter what stage in pregnancy, because I still have trouble asking for help, and I'm a single mom of 2 kids. So you have to ask for help.
Like even now, like I'm home alone and it's like there's just certain things I can't do now because I'm by myself, that like if I get stuck, I'm stuck until he comes home from work, you know? So I'm very thankful for this journey and the people that I have in my tribe, whether they're here in California or in New Jersey. Very thankful for all of you guys, how you know, uplift and support my process and what I'm deciding to do. You know, I'm just really trying to change the narrative, as because we feel like childbirth is not a medical condition. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to have our babies in the hospital. And when you see an animal outside, you don't see the animal, a cat having kittens. You don't see her asking for epidural. You don't see no other cat coming to interfere and help her push these kittens out. Like we just tap into our primordial instincts and have these animals, you know what I mean? Have these babies. And I'm excited to just it to be a very intimate ceremonial type of birth that I'm about to have. You know, I'm very big on, I just feel like, you know, these babies, they see a lot when they're first, they see a lot, period. And it's like there's a lot of energies in the hospital, as we just spoke about. And those babies go to the NICU or whatever, and they just see so much, and then you wonder why you take your baby home and he won't stop crying. Like, he's traumatized. Like, you don't know what he saw when he was away from you. So, like, also just teaching women, like I said, to advocate for themselves. I'm going to put a link to my birth plan, like a birth plan link, in the comments when we
yeah, please.
so
But
that
I have to do mine
you
exponentially.
did your birth plan, you know, you have all the information on how to create a birth plan for yourself and advocate for yourself. So I really think it's important. I'll put for those who want to have home births, you know, like a checklist of all the things you would need for your home birth. We'll probably do a Coochie Conversations on how I prepared for my home birth type of thing. But yeah, it's been very,
Are you
very
going?
insightful.
Are you going to vlog your journey, like toward, like, well, you're already towards the end, but I mean, like, okay,
I've been vlogging my whole journey, and I like
okay,
things,
good.
and I haven't even shared things because
don't upset me today, okay? Because you know I need content, and
it's because I want to turn it into a documentary. It's not
Okay,
because I
good.
want to just give you story clips on Instagram. I want to just be able to have like a whole documentary that I can put on YouTube and show everybody at some point. But I've been sharing every doctor's visit has been documented. Almost every doula visit has been documented. So I do plan on putting it all together and just really showing people my journey.
I love that, because, sorry to cut you, I really love that because I've been watching a lot of videos on like the birthing process of women delivering, or like how they're being cared for during their labor, and like doula videos, and that's something that has sparked my interest. I'm like, oh, I like,
none of
this
them
is
be hitting. So
enjoyable.
I know Bianca content is probably what we need. Is
Yeah, I was like, oh, it makes me
that's right.
feel like,
I'm not going to get upset. I'm just going to let the
No,
spirit.
it's, I like, the problem is I'm a hoarder of information, of like content, not knowledge, but just content. So I'll have everything here. Like, you'll tell me to make a Yoni scene video and I could put something together because I have a bunch of just content in here that I don't share. So if you guys want me to start sharing little things sooner,
OnlyFans.
That was the goal, and
yeah, I forgot about that.
I just haven't. So
I did not, Bianca. I did not pay them. I did not pay them to say that. I was here to talk about the Maternal Mental Health Week. I did not pay anybody to
you
say
guys
any
think
of those
it's too
things.
late for me to do the OnlyFans, or
No, because it's the beginning of your journey. And look at Patrice. Patrice is coming out of it. Patrice, now you can finally get a foot massage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because I like, and the feet are connected to the neck and the shoulders. So now you could get really in there because you ain't gonna dilate nobody.
Exactly.
So should I start from the
Justice is
beginning?
almost 2, and I'm just getting back to be able to work out. So
And that's a content in itself. It can be a network. It don't have to be one person doing things like postpartum bodies or like postpartum party, whatever the hell it's called. And we can each put a video up because everybody's postpartum here. Almost Naj, almost Bianca. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we all have perspective. It can be a pregnancy channel. It can be motherhood channel. But that's somewhere where the collective can get resources from, because it's like we share stories, and this selfishly great. We're on DSPs, fine. We're on a podcast, fine. But like the other day I was having a conversation with real life women, and it's like some of them didn't want to have kids and some of them did. Some of them didn't feel purpose. And it's just like, I have this space so I can talk to it here, but women don't hear themselves having conversations like them, and they don't see them each other walking through it. We talk about it when we're past it, like, oh yeah, I was going through that at that time. Wow, really? Ain't no receipt. What does that look like? What does healing look like? Like, sometimes we need a practical step, and it's not to put pressure on anybody to tell your panty. It's just like we have a due diligence to be transparent.
Yeah.
yeah, like if it was me, like, and if let's say there was a group of dads who had content, I would pay for that.
I would pay for that.
No, I want to know what's on
I
your mind.
look for that on Instagram. Like I search for it. And
The men circles, I love them. The men podcast, the good ones. Like, I watch that. I absorb that content because like I love seeing our people who in our hue creating content and sharing their viewpoints. Like I was just telling Bianca earlier, I said I spent $12.99 a month to pay for Ace Metaphors platform. Like, and I pay for Canva $14. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a subscription to me because, like, if Black people are making content, I'm gonna be absorbing it. And that's and it's we have to support our content. Like, that's how Tyler Perry was able to buy VH1 and BET in one shot, because we patron his content. So like if we share more, there's more to be absorbed and there's more to be circulated, and like there's money to be made. But there's also a platform to be established.
I don't know if any of y'all aren't on my close friends list, but I'm charging $5 after you guys are invited. Like,
what's up?
$5 a pop. You heard?
I haven't really shared anything about my pregnancy on
And I got 1 subscriber. Just
social,
so you know, someone's gonna pay. Just so you know,
somebody gonna pay.
But first of many.
I haven't shared anything about pregnancy on Instagram, on social media. I've been very cryptic about it, only because of my fragility. And you know, I just because of social media in general and how I feel about, like, sometimes it can be so consuming to me. I was like, okay, so I will save a lot of my content. Like, I share personal belly pictures, which you guys will get. But for me, it would like be the postpartum journey that I'd be sharing more so. Only because just while I'm in this state, I kind of just don't want like the extra attention,
noise,
and the noise and stuff. I was always adamant about that. I was like, oh, I can't wait till my baby comes out so I can put an emoji on him. Like, that's so horrible.
Don't be that one. Don't be that one.
Hustler, you better not.
It's so horrible. But no, like, you know, that's just something that I kind of feel just in the space that I'm in, just to, like, you know, keep it cute to like that after.
I feel like Spirit is talking
because some people just
make stuff up more, share more of your story. So I received the message.
Share in alignment to your nature. You know, I don't want you to deviate from something you would naturally do, and I don't want you to resent the content or resent the demographic.
No, it's something that I've been wanting to do. It's just that, like, I just don't. Like, there's no reservations behind why I don't do it. I just don't.
Do it.
I don't know where to start now, because it's like, all right, I'm at the end. Do I start from the beginning? Do I start from right now? Like, but it's like me putting so much thought into how to start is the reason why I haven't started. So yeah, like, you got to just
just organize it.
Patrice, I got a question, right? If you were gonna have a pop-out video for your content, what you doing, who you are, right? What would that look like?
A life of being a mother. That's what it is.
A day in the life.
Yeah, that's a day in the life.
A day in the life of pregnancy.
Yeah, we counting Pampers out here.
Ashe.
Yeah, I ain't got to that part yet.
So I like to always close out our Coochie Conversations with an affirmation.
Yes.
And today I want everybody to give their own affirmation. So I will start.
Yay!
And my affirmation of today with this Coochie Conversations episode is, I trust my body because I always know that she knows what's best for me.
I trust my body because I know that she knows what's best for me.
I like that. I'm gonna have to use
Naj, you up next.
Oh, damn, Joanne, you just telling my business.
If I can count how many times I heard "damn Joanne" and it's only Monday.
I can because I believe in myself.
I can because I believe in myself.
Yes.
Come on, Sam. You up next. What's your affirmation?
You already are. You
Period.
already are.
You already are.
And did.
And is.
And is.
Ashe.
Joanne, don't get
Oh,
quiet now.
no, I was charging. My body, my voice, my body, my choice.
I like that.
Ashe.
I love that.
My
I put it on
body,
the show.
my voice, my body, my choice.
I like that.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Okay, Patrice.
Close it out.
Um,
Patrice said Psalm 91.
One of my favorite songs.
I don't know. There's a lot going through my brain. I exist because I have a divine given purpose.
Ooh, I exist because I have a divine given purpose.
Oh, I love that
Hey,
one.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Asheo.
This was such a beautiful episode, guys. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time, for your experience, for your
Patrice,
knowledge.
that baby sleeping. I hope we're about to run a whole 30-minute episode right after this. I'm about to just that baby sleep.
This was beautiful. Thank you, Patrice, for coming on last minute and sharing your experience as a new mom. You could have been like, girl, I gotta breastfeed. I got things to do.
I got a newborn.
He's napping. It's time for me to nap. I ain't doing this conversations, but you showed up and showed out, and we really appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So yeah, we will see you guys on the next episode of Coochie Conversations. I hope that
all like in 5 seconds because we're all like in different texts. We're like in 3 different group chats.
Right. I hope that you all enjoyed this episode. Everybody's links and Instagram is shared in the comments. If you need a birth plan, it's in the comments. Don't be afraid to like, share, comment, and tell us what you got out of today's episode. And we love you all. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.